And we are live. Welcome back to Pistons Jack Fan Reacts. And what a game we have to preview or review, I should say. Uh, we are going live on Instagram as well. So for those on Instagram that haven't seen me live before, put those W's in the chats. Let's get this thing popping. If you want to come up on the stream, whether you're watching on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or anywhere else, please drop me a DM now and we'll get you up. I've got a couple scheduled to go off the bat here, but yeah, shout out to all of you in the chat. Instagram is going off. W's, Grant James, let's go. Caden, W's, Waller, W. Man, heaps of you in the chat. I love it. And then people in the YouTube chat. What a game, guys. The Pistons defeat the Knicks 124 to 119. They're 2-0 now at the Garden. Cade Cunningham, it was all-star. It was all NBA. Now it's like, are we talking MVP? Like, he has to be MVP candidate right now. But we should have my man Jordan joining me in just a moment. He DM'd me earlier today. He's actually at the game. I'm sure he'll run us through his day, but he drove from Detroit with a friend to MSG. And he asked if they win, if he could come on the stream. I said, absolutely. So I'm hoping his phone hasn't died because he did say he was running low on battery, but he should be joining us in just a moment. But what a game. What a game. What a team. This team is going to new heights. Honestly, tonight, I thought they were going to go 2-1 this week, and I thought tonight might be the loss. Just because the Knicks were fully healthy. They didn't have Cat last time. The Pistons won there. But no, this team's even since the last time they were in New York, this team's gone to another level. And that was only like a month ago. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm going to go through some comments here on YouTube just while I wait for Jordan. But Sean, that was a nice one, boys. I honestly didn't think that we could beat the Knicks. I feel like we could beat them, but I'm with you in the sense of tonight, it was always going to be a tough game. And yeah, what a feeling, Sean. Buddy, feels so good to beat the team that handed us our worst loss of the season. That feels like a year ago, that game where the Pistons lost by over 20 to the Knicks and the game was really over straight away. Yeah, we are that just feels like that feels like the 23-24 Pistons to think back in November then. But YouTube user, I love that not only this team's in every game in the fourth, they're winning more often than losing in the clutch. Huge step forward for these guys. Incredible. I'm not sure what Jordan's doing, so I'm going to drop a link now to my guy Cody. Just give me a moment. And if Jordan becomes available, we'll get him up after. But Cody, dropping you a link now, my brother. And yeah, as I said, anyone else wants to join, please shoot me a DM. We'll get you up here. As YouTube user says here, though, I love that not only this team is in every game in the fourth, they're winning more often than losing in the clutch. Huge step forward. Couldn't agree more. I'm still getting used to them being able to close games, and Cade Cunningham in particular doing his thing and closing out games. And we'll get into him more in depth and some of the other players when Cody jumps on. But it's just an awesome time. Austin, my man, surely you got some time to hop up here today, brother. W's in the chat. What a game. Cade is that dude. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Mark, shout out to Mark, fellow Aussie. We were chatting the other day on Instagram. Man, that felt so good. Sasa with some huge buckets, and MB is a hero amongst men. And Mark's actually going to be joining us potentially over the weekend, so can't wait to have my Aussie mate up here to chat hoops. But we're going to bring up Cody now. What's going on? What a game.
God damn, do I love being wrong. It's beautiful to be wrong. It's so beautiful to be wrong. Oh, man. Sorry, I almost let one slip. But I love being wrong, baby.
So, are you talking about Cade specifically or this team?
Cade.
Yeah. Cade. Well, let's start with him. Talk us through his game.
I mean, what can you say? He's a monster. He's a savage.
Can I ask you this? Sorry to cut you off, but you watch more NBA basketball than me. I only watch the Pistons these days. How, like, can you quantify, like, the way Cade is playing right now, just right now, where does he rank in the league?
He's right there with Mitt, like Donovan Mitchell. I'd say that tier. So
Yeah.
you're probably looking at fringe top 15. I mean, I've seen a lot of top 10 talks. I mean, that's tough because you start listening to top 10, and you're like, okay, let's calm it down a little bit.
But that's still crazy. Like, because I'm with you. Like, I think that's but like around that 15 range. Like, the fact he's there, and I think that's a reasonable call from you. Obviously, like, it's huge. It's massive. I don't think anyone expected this season.
It's insane. I mean, I couldn't. There's no. I can't even lie. There's no shot. I thought that the jump would be this big. Like the leap it's insane. It's honestly insane. And like you look at that stat line, you have to realize he did it in a half. Essentially, he was not good in the first half. He had some questionable fouls, a couple bad ones, and like I thought for sure. I tweeted it even before. I was like, I think this could get away from them. He has 4 fouls already. That's a tough hill to climb. And then he just comes out in the second half and absolutely destroys the Knicks. Just destroys them, buries them.
He was genuinely tearing them apart. Like, it was insane. 18 in the third, 36 on the game. What did he have in the first half? Was it like maybe 7 points? 7. So 29 points in the second half. Like, just getting whatever he wanted as well. Felt like everything he shot was going in. Like,
I mean, honestly, if somebody has a better one, let me know. I think that's Cade's best half of basketball he's ever played in a Pistons uniform. If you can find me a better one, I welcome you to, because you're talking about a very good Knicks basketball team, like very good. Like that's not
very good.
that's not doing it against the Toronto Raptors. That's doing it against a legit playoff contender. Like just absolutely beat the brakes off the Bucks yesterday. They were up by 1 million. Just destroyed the Bucks at their place. I'm pretty sure. Just beat them down. Wow. I mean, if anybody can find a better half than that, maybe I'm forgetting something, but that has to be Cade's best half of basketball he's ever played in a Pistons uniform. Has to be.
I'm with you. And you know what I loved as well, particularly in that third quarter? The Knicks, like, they came out they were knocking down shots, and Cade was just going shot for shot. Like, and they needed every single one of those 18 points from him in the third, because Mikal Bridges was like not missing from 3. It felt like Cat had that sore hand, but was still just a threat every time. Brunson finished with 31. Like, those buckets were so timely, and 29 points and a half is crazy no matter what, but it just felt like every single one was such a big bucket. And I feel like what has been a question mark on Cade was like him coming through in those, like, because I still feel like it's not defined as clutch moments, but that third quarter stretch was huge. Like, because I don't think they win this if he doesn't open with like 10 points in the first 3 minutes. Like,
no, he had to go nuclear for them to win that game. I mean, but the thing that I'm really loving about this team is without Ivy, they're still scoring pretty well. Like overall, they've had some clunkers, a few clunkers in the last 10 games, but for the most part, they're still scoring really well. Now, the Knicks have had games where they've given up, 130. They're not the best team defensively out there, but I mean, they're still scoring the ball really well, and I mean, you're getting it from everyone. I mean, Asar scored in double digits tonight. Malik, obviously, huge game. THJ made some timely jumpers in the first half. Sasser
huge, man.
had some big minutes. A huge 3, a nice jumper from the elbow. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, Stu had a nice game. Yeah, man, it was just. I mean, everybody contributed. That might be the best one of the season. That might be.
I felt like it was, and I know I'm pretty reactionary right now, but I
I mean, you think
Like,
about that one. You think about the Indiana game where they blew them out to really have a chance to get in the cup. You think about the Lakers game earlier on in the season when they were trying to find their footing. The first Knicks game, but that one just felt different because the Knicks did not play bad.
yeah.
The Knicks were getting damn near every foul call they could ever want, which is what that team does. I mean, they're a team full of floppers, Cat flops, Brunson flops. I mean, least ethical hoops in the entire NBA. Brunson and Trae Young can go back and forth with that all day. They're just foul baiting weirdos, and I hate it.
Oh man,
Um,
Brunson.
dude,
Like,
he's the biggest foul baiter of all time, and it just kills me that the league is like, you have Cade who is not foul baiting at all. He's going hard to the rim, and he's getting clotheslined. And they're like, no whistle. Brunson gets tapped on a drive, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, we gotta blow that whistle because he's a vanilla midget. I mean, screw that guy, midget.
Oh man.
No,
Well,
I hate that guy. I hate Jalen Brunson hoops.
no, it's frustrating to watch. Like, it was that even just the first quarter, I was like, oh, we're in for a lot of fouls tonight. A lot of foul shots. I mean, what was the difference in the end? 29-18. So it felt worse. It's still 11,
It definitely felt
11
worse.
free throw
It
difference. Yeah,
definitely felt worse.
but yeah. I think though you said it. Like, I think this is the best win of the season because the Knicks are really good. Like, they're really good, and their two best players were great tonight in Brunson and Cat. Like, you look at their numbers, you're like, well, they've played up above their standards or around where they normally go. Mikal Bridges, 6 of 8 from 3, barely missed, 27 points. I got this man in my fantasy team, so I see how he plays. Like, that is one of the better games you're going to get from him. And then even like Hart, Anunoby, like,
I mean, what did Brunson, Bridges, and Cat combine for over 80? Right?
pretty much 90 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much 90.
So
Like
you beat the
86 or
Knicks
something.
when arguably their three best players combined for 90.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's crazy.
that's
And
what I
I'm
mean.
pretty
Yeah,
sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Cat didn't play the first time against the Pistons.
he didn't. That's why this is better
So
as well than that
that
other
makes
one.
us even more impressive because, I mean, say what you want about Cat, he's having an unbelievable year.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good this year.
Can
New
we
York kind of locked him. Like, Tibbs knows how to use him. That pick and pop with Brunson is lethal. It's really, really hard to defend. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a great win. I mean,
Can I ask you, did you think those two Beasley threes? I want to give credit to THJ because I think he kicked it to him both times,
he did.
especially the second one. THJ could have taken that, but I think with the way he was shooting, he definitely made the right choice. Well, clearly made the right choice, but I mean, I honestly felt like Biggs was hitting both those buckets. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but
No, I
he is
mean
a
when he
monster,
has a
man.
night where he's on, you think every 3-pointer is going in. Like it doesn't matter. Like that
It's crazy.
heat check he pulled up, like they were like 4 seconds in the shot clock in the first half, and he caught that one about 6 feet behind the top of the key and just launched it all net.
It's
Like
insane.
like when there's a few guys in this league that when they start out hot, you just like they're never gonna miss. They're just never gonna miss.
Well,
Like there are probably 10 to 15 guys in the NBA in the entire NBA who can shoot like that, and just like
he's
Cam
crazy.
Edwards is one. If he gets going early from three, he'll start banging them home. Steph Curry, obviously. Like there's very few players that if they start hot, you think every single one's going in.
No, for sure, man. Like 22 points, 6 of 8 from 3, like 4 of 4 in the first quarter, then the two biggest shots of the game at the end there to seal it.
But
Just shout out to him.
the best part about those two possessions is the Knicks were so terrified to let Brunson switch on to Cade that they had no choice. They were like, somebody else will beat us because it's not gonna be Cade. And you could clearly tell JB was like, just hunt Brunson. Just hunt Brunson every time. You can get whatever you want against them if they don't double you. And if you double you, someone's gonna be open. Like, and of course it worked both times. Like, and that's the thing about Cade. I saw a post yesterday. I forget who it was. It was from a big NBA account.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt from Six Rings of Steel or There's a few other comps. It might have been him, might have been somebody else. But he said that, Cade always makes the right decision. And like it's hard to put into words how hard that is to do against NBA players, NBA defenses, because the athleticism is so insane. Like people can make you look really bad in the NBA because their athletic ability is so crazy. Like you see Asar do it to players all the time. Like he just flummoxes them, and he has people not knowing what to do sometimes. Like Cade very rarely has a guy who can do that to him. There might be a handful in the league who can get Cade out of his element. A handful of defenders, and you're talking about the all worlds, like Caruso on his best night, maybe even though he's too small, but maybe he could speed him up. And like there's very few guys that can get Cade out of his element, and that's a really big deal.
Oh man, that's 3-on-3 report says here. Cade Cunningham saved my life. I just continue to be surprised in the best way possible at how good this guy is. Like, just right now, that guy, I don't know. Like, I know he's had a couple of down games maybe a week ago. I can't remember now, but I just feel like I have not seen him put together a stretch remotely close to this, like what we've seen since that West Coast trip, and for the whole team as well. But he's just like blown my expectations out of the water for who he could be this early in his career.
Like, yeah, I mean, and that's the scary part, right? He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
So, 23 years old, go back and look at all your top 10 players in the league not named Bron at 23 years old. Like, there's very few that are playing like that at 23.
Oh, it's incredible. Like, I mean, he's not near Luka yet, but like, I think one of the things I was questionable about leading into this season is that if he could be this like high usage guy, and the team could win. And I know they're only just a couple of games above 500, but feels like it's trending in the right direction clearly. Because that was one of my biggest questions for the season. Like, and the turnover stuff early on was like worrying, but like only 2 turnovers tonight. I feel like, I mean, last game I think he might have had 8, but they're definitely down in the past couple of months. Like, it's crazy. I just continue to be surprised. I don't even know what else to say about him.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good show from Beastly Arrow, though. Dyson Daniels is one of the only people this year that has bothered Cade, and we all know how good Dyson Daniels is defensively. That guy's a freak show. That guy's ridiculous. Like a thorn of man. Like that, he's the type that can bother just about anybody.
He's ridiculous. Can I ask you, you brought up Asar before. Like, I thought he had a really nice game tonight. 26 minutes feels like the most he's played in a while. Didn't do a whole lot off the top of my head down the stretch there when he was on, but I thought in like the third quarter when the Pistons were really putting a run together, him and Cade were like the two that were really making things happen. Just thoughts on his game.
He didn't do a lot offensively, but he forced that absolutely massive turnover when the Knicks were flipping momentum, and they got a bucket off that. And then, I mean, he was the only one who could really bother Brunson, but they were hunting that switch so much that it was like moot because they were just bringing up Towns, switching Stu onto him and letting Brunson go and be the foul baiting, that he is. I can't stand Brunson. I'll do it one more time. But like that was one of Asar's better games, and I feel like he's finally got his wind back, his legs back. His finishing around the rim looks better. He made a 3, pulled up confidently. Maybe Asar just can't shoot from the corner because he's made a few threes from that free throw line extended area.
Oh, that one he took. Can I just ask you quickly?
The corner's just not for him.
Above the break only. But like when he took that 3, because I think Brunson maybe hit a 3. Someone hit a 3 to put the Knicks up 6. Asar immediately comes down and jacks one up. I'm like, that is ballsy. And he just drains
he pulled it fast, too. There was no second guessing. He just pulled
it. Second guessing. Were you like, no, yes? Or were you?
Of course, yeah. I mean, anytime Asar shoots the ball from outside of 8 feet, I don't expect it to go in. And I mean, that's nothing on Asar.
No, it's kind of that's the stuff though. Even though like because Ron does that as well. It's the stuff that gives you hope. Like I think Ron's shown a lot more this season as a scorer than a star, but just even with the star, like having that confidence is what gives you hope that maybe one day he can get there as like not a second scorer, but like I don't know, your third or fourth on a consistent basis. Because you
Yeah.
need to have that confidence.
No, yeah.
Some of
I
the
mean,
misses he has are crazy.
that's a guy we didn't mention today, Ron. Ron played a clean game. I mean, he's opposed to early in the season when he was kind of shooting too much and playing teams out of his minutes, like playing the Pistons out of his minutes. When he'd be in there, he'd kind of play them out of a game a little bit. And now he's just taking what the defense gives him. He had 2 nice finishes around the rim, a dunk, had a really nice pocket pass to Duran, or Stu. It was Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the potential written all over on Holland. You really can. Like you can see it. You like I like when he's 22, 23, demon. It's not going to wait that long. That's the problem. It's not going to wait that long, but that's probably what it's going to take.
I mean, but how nice is it to see that, like, because I truly think, like, if he came onto last season's Pistons team, it's nowhere near what we're seeing right now. I feel like he's just in such a perfect situation where he gets his 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes if he's having a really good night. And he can make some mistakes, but there's not that pressure on him like Asar last season to, like, be like a number one defender or be like, not that Asar's a primary scorer, but there's just not that much pressure on him. And I feel like it's the perfect environment for him to grow.
Yeah, I mean, it really is refreshing to see. And honestly, all this just makes me really sad. Not to bring it up again because I know it's like the Jaden Ivey stuff now. It's just like because I've seen it's still really hard offensively when Cade's on the floor. Like you really like, man, if we had a guy like Ivey, like still to just like because Sass done a good job for what he's being asked to do. I mean, it's not the best position for him, you know, to be thrust into, but he's doing a good job with it. But obviously, the ceilings there's quite a gap.
Yeah, obviously. Not that Ivy's huge, but just even the size of Sasa, it's something I always notice. But Cody, I'm gonna get Austin up here in a minute, but where do you want to finish this out? Is there a key takeaway, predictions for the week? I'll leave it to you.
Huge game against the Pacers on Thursday.
Is that home?
I don't know if it's that. I mean, the last game we played was there. I would assume it's home. Yeah. But I don't know. The scheduling's weird in the NBA. It could be back-to-back road games. But that's a huge, huge game. Because the Pacers are, outside the Pistons, outside of the Thunder, the hottest team in basketball. You can make an argument they are the hottest team in basketball. They were down 10 points yesterday to the Cavs at half and beat them by 15. Like, they are playing insane basketball right now. Insane. If we beat the Pacers, that's really like like that'll be an impressive 2-game win streak as the Pistons could possibly put together. The way the Pacers are playing right now.
Every time I look in the standings, bro, they're like, I'm like, we're gonna overtake them, and they just keep winning.
They haven't lost it. I'm pretty sure they're on a pretty nice win streak.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have not lost recently, and Tyrese is back to playing good basketball. Miles is playing good basketball. They got Nemhart back, which I think was huge for them. They're tough. And they're back to scoring again. They're back to putting the ball in the hole again. Not quite like they were last year, but they're also playing better defense than they did last year. So, yeah. I mean, if we win that one, and then the Suns game is gonna be rocking. I fully expect the Suns game to be a win because LCA is going to be freaking insane before that Lions game.
Oh man, I can't wait. For
anybody who can't afford to go to the Lions game is going to be in an LCA and then in a bar afterwards watching the Lions, going crazy. Detroit's going to be absolutely insane. I'm not rooting for the Lions. Spoiler alert, all of you in the chat. I don't care. I don't care. Go Redskins or go Commanders. Go Commanders. Go Commanders. But the Pistons, they will be absolutely rocking in Detroit, and I'll be excited for that. I'm
Love
predicting
it.
2-1 this week. I do think they will lose to the Pacers.
Yeah.
And that's just with the way the Pacers are playing. I don't think we have enough scoring pop, but they will beat Phoenix on Saturday. Devin Booker will care more about getting to the game at Ford Field than he will about trying to beat the Pistons. Pistons go 2-1. Stay 2 games above 500. It'll be a solid week still.
Let's go, man. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, brother. As always a pleasure. Go enjoy the win.
Oh,
And
I
yeah,
will. I plan on.
we'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right, brother.
Always good time, Jack. Thanks.
Catch you, man. Austin, brother, what's going on?
Oh, man. Oh, what a win. What a win. What a game. Just fun to watch. The first half,
Incredible.
the first half was one of those things where it was like, man, Cade's having a tough game, but everybody else was kind of keeping him in it. And, if you feel like at those times, it's like, well, Cade's going to get it going eventually. And he obviously did. And, just down the stretch, it seemed like, I don't know, everybody was kind of doing their thing. Like, Beasley's out there hitting threes. Cade's doing what he does. Ron had a couple nice buckets. Sasser with some huge buckets. The thing with Sasser is like, it's not like a joke anymore. Like he's not. For me, even if like say Jaden Ivey were to come back in 2 months or something, like I don't know, like it'd be tough, but I feel like he has to have some minutes. He knows how to score the ball, and he knows how to put it in the hoop, and it's just fun to watch. So
how big was that? So he had the step back 3 over Brunson. I think it was 2 points that got it back to a 5-point game. Knicks missed down the other, and he comes back down. I think he almost loses it. Then 5 seconds on the shot clock, drives down, draws, I think it was Cat, and just dumps it off to Duran underneath. And I was just like,
yeah. I think he had a floater in there too. Like
floater as well came after that. That was like he's a mature player. Like I think people forget he's like probably the oldest of the young core, or at least the same age as Cade. But like he's a bucket, and I'm with you. Like whenever Ivy comes back or whatever that looks like I don't know, man. He just makes so many big time plays.
Yeah, and maybe there comes a time where like there end up being some trades and minutes open up for him when Ivy comes back. I mean, but I just think that right now what you're seeing from him is just the ability to score the ball, and he can play pretty solid defense as long as he doesn't get overmatched. Like his defense is pretty good too. So just awesome. Again, like going into Madison Square Garden, like did the Knicks, they blew out the Bucks. Is that who they beat?
Yeah. Cody was saying they beat the Bucks yesterday or day before by like nearly 40 points or something.
I think it was yesterday. I was watching the Knicks stream because I really enjoy Mike Breen. And they mentioned towards the end of the game, I think Cat missed a 3 and then Brunson missed a 3. And they were like, oh, that doesn't look good if they're going to start missing shots on the second night of a back-to-back. Like, I don't know. Again, like he keeps saying like, man, this is exactly what we hoped for, kind of last year. Like this was kind of what I was expecting this team to turn into last year. And this is it. And you mentioned earlier, like that first time they played, I think maybe it was the first time they played the Pacers or just the beginning of the season. It was the first Knicks game when they got blown out. Like it feels like 2 different seasons. It really does. Like, weirdly enough, I'm pretty sure that was the first time I actually came on here was that Knicks game when they got blown out and things were so down. So we've come a long way.
Oh, man, that was like game number 6 of the season. I remember I had a moment after that game being like, oh, did I make a really bad decision going to do this full time? Like, is this still the same team as last year? But because I think they were 1-4, they'd just beaten Philly, but Philly had no one playing. Then they come back and get the absolute worst loss of the season. I'm like, but literally feels like 2 different teams. And I just want to quickly, I should have shouted this out first, but for everyone watching, Austin messaged me at 9:25 this morning, which I think is around 5:30 p.m. Eastern for you guys. Beasley's going off tonight. I don't know why, but I just have a hunch. And guess what Malik Beasley does in the first quarter? Cannot miss 12 points, 4 of 4. Like, whenever you message me in my morning time, whatever you say happens. It's insane. Like, you
Weird, man.
literally called the Beasley thing.
And
What
like,
the hell?
I don't know. It's just like a feeling. I was like, you know what? I think Malik Beasley's gonna have. He's been off a little bit, but I know, like
that might have been his hottest. Like, just it was in like a 5-minute span. He came on and goes 4 of 4, and like that fourth one was like a full blown heat check. Like, just like, and you called it. I was just like, what the hell? Like, Austin, you're like a fortune teller or something. I don't know. It's
I don't know, man. Like, this is just the kind of like the Pistons are just fun to watch again, and it's just what we all deserve. Everybody who's watching this right now, like, we all deserve to be watching a team like this because of what we had to sit through. Not even just last year, but the year before that when Cade got hurt, and it was more of a developmental year for everyone. Like, this is what it's been building to, and this is what we all deserve to be watching. And Asar playing, he's really starting to kind of get back to what he does best. I mean, he was really pushing the pace tonight, which was awesome to see. Like, I love that because when this team gets out in transition, it feels like they're unstoppable. Duren had a up and down kind of night. I don't know. He was off the floor a lot with foul trouble, and Isaiah Stewart stepped up huge. I thought when Duren fouled out, that was actually like better for the Pistons.
Yeah.
Because of just his impact on the floor. And, I get JB wants to stick with him. Duren has been playing a little bit better recently, but, in a game like that where it's Cat on the outside and, Duren still isn't great against that extended 5 position. Like, it should have been Stewart. Again, Duren has been playing well, but, just Stewart was out of his mind tonight.
Yeah, Stu is like the better. I actually thought JD was like, he fouled out, and I think that actually ended up working in the favor of the Pistons. But I thought he was actually solid. Like, Cat got a 3 very early on, where JD was actually positioned and was right, but he just didn't put his hands up. Like, he just had his hands by his side. I'm like, that was like Cat's first 3 of the game. But then I thought JD actually did a pretty good job. Like, I just don't think he has the foot speed to like when Cat put it on the deck, like, it was just easy for him to draw fouls because
there's
JD
that.
just can't stay with him. But I thought JD was fine. Like, this was nothing like early in the season against Vooch or Cat. Like,
the first time. Yeah, I guess the way to judge that would be like, I can't think of one moment in my mind where I was like, man, Duren really messed up right there. Like, like that's kind of where it's at. And, even with some of those Cat drives, like, some of them were, I don't know, like, I'm just, the way the NBA is officiated nowadays, they give everything to the offensive players, even if they're out of control. Like, there was the one that I can think of, Cat ran in there and just threw the ball up and yelled. Like, those are the kind of things that's like, it's hard to blame on him because that's just what the NBA is now. But, I mean, all around, I thought that they played 10 people tonight. Was it
I
a
think
10
so,
minute?
yeah. JB's been playing 10 since the RP went down.
Yeah, like, I don't mind it. Like, I like everyone seems to come in and contribute in some kind of way. Ron Holland had a big offensive rebound that was tipped out by Stewart. I think he turned that into an and one for Stu. Like, everybody contributes when they come in. Fontecchio has some rough minutes, but then he also has some good minutes. I don't know.
He had a big putback as well, but I tweeted it out. I'm just at the point where I'm like, Tech, just shoot the contested corner 3. Don't even put it on the deck, brother. I don't know what's going on with your handle. I know it's not like the best, but I don't remember it being this sus. But just put it on the deck, bro. But you're right. Like, he has some moments you're like, oh no. Like, I think he took a pull-up jumper at the elbow in the first half, but had a big putback. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So, like, even he's coming in and he's giving you something at least. Like, I mean, what are they?
I just want to, while you're looking that up, I just want to, Tom, if you have the time, my friend, I'd love to get you on up here after Austin, just for a couple of minutes. I know you're at work, but I think everyone would love to see your smile and your vibe. So if you can, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and we'll get you up after Austin. But as you were saying, Austin, sorry.
Well, I was just trying to look up like plus minus plus minus minutes from tonight. And I mean, only 4 players in minus minutes. The worst was Duran at -9. Like -5, -6. Thompson was -1. Like those are just, again, the kind of things that you like to see. And, some of that has to do with who's playing. Like when Cade goes off the floor, it does become a little bit more tough to move and score the ball. So, I think a backup point guard puts them in a really good position to not even make a play in position. I think that a backup point guard puts them in a playoff spot, like a solid playoff spot, not just play in. Just because I think what we're seeing from Cade right now is just he's really starting to ascend. How many points did he have? Did he have 7 points in the first half?
Yeah.
And I mean, he finishes with 36. What he's doing right now it's just insane. Because I was gonna tweet something out like after the first half, like, oh man, these are the kind of games that Cade has every once in a while where he kind of,
Yeah.
But then you always have to think of the fouls were kind of taking him out of his rhythm, and that hurts. And it was just really good to see him come out in that second half and just be like, yeah, I'm that dude. Like I'm gonna go do whatever I want and nobody can stop me. And it was cool to hear from the Knicks broadcast, like, oh man, the Knicks are playing well. They just cannot stop number 2 for the Pistons. And I don't know, hearing Mike Breen say that and hearing him comment, even though it was the Knicks broadcast, it's like, this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to see on national broadcast soon. And it's going to be Cade and it's going to be Mike Breen calling the game. And
yeah. So I think the Pistons only have one nationally televised game, and I think it's against the Rockets, which I think is next week in Houston. But I mean, the way Cade's playing, you got to get him on more national TV.
Yeah, they got to flex some of those games for sure.
They got to flex something. The amount of times Pistons have been flexed out of national TV games, I'm sure they can flex, get them in there. But he's incredible. I think the one thing that gave me a slither of hope that he could turn it around, because you're right, the fouls are what took him out of the game. But that first 3 he took of the game, the pull-up, was literally nothing but net. It was like a pull-up 3. And it's a small thing, but I was like, he looks kind of dialed in. Then the fouls mess him around. Did not expect him to do what he did, but there's a slither part of me that was like, they can keep this close. I feel like Cade's got this. And they put it on the broadcast, and I also tweeted out a screenshot, but I think he's like, let me try to find it. His last 4 games at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks, obviously, he's dropped 31 points, 32 points, 29 points, and 36 tonight.
The
he
Garden brings
loves
up
playing there.
It does.
It does. I think that's an average of like 33, I want to say, 32 at MSG in the past 2 seasons.
Just crazy. I think the Knicks broadcast said something about when the Knicks don't outscore their opponents in the first quarter, they actually have, I want to say it was a losing record when they don't outscore the opponents in the first quarter. And so as that first quarter was going, I was like, hey, I guess if you can just outscore them in that first quarter and make them play catch up, you got a pretty good chance of winning. So, this is where we're at. And it's just, So was it 8-10? James says 8-10 after losing when trailing in the first. That's crazy. So, what you got to do when you play them is just beat them in that first quarter.
Literally, I want to talk about Isaiah Stewart for a second because you brought it up. One thing I've absolutely loved, Stu's my favorite player, so I love watching him play no matter what. But one of my favorite things is watching players try to go to the rack on him because they see him smaller, and every time he either blocks it, left hand or right hand, or he forces them into a tough shot. Karl-Anthony Towns tried him tonight. I even saw Brunson try him a few times. Brunson actually made a couple of tough buckets because he's for as much as he annoys me to watch him, he is really crafty around the rim. But I love watching. I think OG might have tried him, and OG got him once as well. But
to be fair, he didn't really get a good chance at that. So
yeah, he was getting sort of held down. But just his rim protection, he's always been if you look up those advanced numbers, he's always been a solid rim protector. but I don't know if the blocks were really there before this season. And some of that's probably he's playing at the 4 and out of position. But like, my goodness, like I think he's leading the league in blocks off the bench now. But like, it's just the rim protection from him, and then you mix in the versatility, like switching. Like, I saw some bullshit Bleacher Report trade this morning. I am not moved. Like, I know it was for Ingram, and I know there's salaries, but I just, at some point, like culture and the way he plays defense, the tone he sets, like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have a hard time if he ever gets traded.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I do have to go. So I'll just end with like, yeah, I like Stu. I like everything that he brings. I think he's great in the position that he is in right now, and his contract is just looking better and better. Yeah, since I got to hop off, I would love to talk Isaiah Stewart, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm happy that this is where the Pistons are at. So
let's go.
I hope I can talk to you after they play the Pacers and we can get a dub. You know, that's
go, brother.
That's the hope.
Let's go. I feel like we're going to. But Austin, always a pleasure, my man. Thank you for jumping on and sharing your thoughts. Absolutely love chatting with you. So enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the win. And hopefully we see you back after the Indiana game.
Yeah, hopefully. Appreciate you.
All right. Catch you, man.
See ya.
All right, guys. Just going to quickly check my DMs. I think I saw, actually, hang on. Where's Devin? Devin, I might have to come on one time, introduce myself to more people. If you want to jump on now, man, I'm not sure if you're on Instagram or Twitter, shoot me a DM and I can get you up now. There's no better time than the present. If you're not, you can drop your email in the chat here if you feel comfortable doing that. We've done that before to get people on the stream, but no pressure to come up. But I think we are now clear because unfortunately, Jordan can't join us now, which is, I was really looking forward to getting his thoughts from at MSG, but that's okay. He said he'll come next game. Let me just check Instagram quickly, and then we're going to go through some comments here because there is a lot of people in the chat tonight. Okay, a couple of people from Instagram might want to come on. Let me just see if they still want to come on. One moment. I think I got to get someone to help me do these messages. Let's shoot that one off. All right, guys, we're going to go through some comments. Shout out to you, Devin. We'll get you up here one day. Travis, Jack, I love you. Just here to say, please upload these to podcast Spotify. We will get there one day. Okay, I appreciate the love, brother. What I probably will start sometime in the near future is putting up my Pistons Jack chats. Last week we had we had on Anthony from Pistons Talk the week before. Tomorrow I've actually got Bryce Simon coming on from Motor City Hoops to record, so really excited to chat to him. So I might start getting those ones up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts in the near future. These ones are just a bit more tricky because they're such massive files, but I appreciate the love, Travis, and hopefully we get you up here one day, brother, to chat Pistons. All right, we got someone who's going to come up. We've got the Bruin on IG. I'm just going to drop him a link right now. We're going to get a fresh face up on here to chat Pistons. Just bear with me, guys. All right, so we should have someone joining us in just a moment. Some more comments here. Cade for MVP. Like he has to be in the conversation now. He just has to be. I'm not saying he's number 1, 2, or 3, but if there's a top 5, I don't know, man. He's pushing for it. Wayne Lim, Detroit basketball, fellow Aussie Pistons fan from Sydney. Followed them since the Bad Boys era. Great to be relevant again. Couldn't have said it better, Wayne. Thank you for tuning in, my man. Hopefully get you up here one day on the stream. Get some more Aussies up here. Dylan was at the game. So clutch. Whole place went silent while I was going crazy. You weren't sitting courtside, were you? Because I saw a Pistons fan going crazy after those Beasley threes, but love to hear it. What else we got here? Charlie Kimmel, thoughts on JI? I think I'm even with the injury, my thoughts haven't changed on JI. I think I think you could extend him this summer in the offseason. I think what he's shown, he can play next to Cade, and he's a guy worth investing in for sure. 3-point percentage way up this season, 41% on like 5 attempts. Incredible alongside Cade. You see, even though the Pistons are winning still, they're missing his ball handling and just his ability to take over stretches when Cade's off. So you're keeping JI around for mine. But we're going to bring up Reed now. What's going on, my man?
What's up, Jeff? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. What a
Dude,
game.
What a game. I fully expected it. I texted some of my buddies. I said, going into Madison Square Garden is going to be a hard game to win, and I cannot believe that they came out and played like that. You guys were talking about Cade being tough playing in the first half, but that second half was unbelievable.
What? It's just ridiculous, bro. But before I get into the game with you, whenever someone new comes up, I just get them to quickly tell their how they became a Pistons fan, why they're a fan, just to let all the people know.
Sure, yeah. So I grew up 30 minutes outside of Detroit. So I've been a Pistons fan for a long time. Watched them win watched them win a world championship in 2004 with the Chauncey. I wasn't born when they won it with the Bad Boys, but I've been a Pistons fan my whole life. I'm happy that they're finally coming back. And, they drafted Cade. When they drafted Cade, I went nuts. I have a video of it on my Snapchat. I recorded it. That the time they turned over the card, I said, this is incredible. I loved him in college. So, yeah, I've just been a Pistons fan my whole life, man. I've been watching you, and I watched the video of you talking about becoming the Pistons fan, being an Aussie, which is crazy that, out of all teams and how bad they've been, you stuck with it. So we love that here in Detroit, seeing outside fans.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. And there's, I came to join the team when because of Andre Drummond. So I haven't seen much success with them. So this has been awesome. But there's so many fans like me, man, in Australia and all over the world. We've had some of them on here. They've stuck through all the bad times. Like we have John, who's been on from Switzerland, who watches games at 1 a.m. Before school, bro. So I'm so happy everyone's getting to just be a part of something special.
What time was this game for you?
So for me, the times work really well. 7 p.m. tip-off Eastern for you guys is 11 a.m. in the morning. So
wow.
It's honestly very good. Obviously, that's why I had to quit my job to do this stuff because it's doing work hours. But
you're taking off though, man. That's huge. You're taking off.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. But man, you spoke about Cade and your reaction to the Pistons drafting him. Did you think he could get to the Cade Cunningham we saw tonight? 29 points in the second half, 18 points in the third quarter. Just taking over the game and taking down one of the best teams in the NBA. Did you think we would see that this season from him?
I actually did think he was going to take a leap this season. I run a podcast myself on Tuesdays with some of my buddies, and we talk all Detroit sports and all sports across the U.S. But
love it.
Yeah, we all said that. Me and my two buddies said that we said that Cade should be an MVP candidate this season.
Let's go.
He was gonna break out. You've seen flashes in the past. He had one of those games. I think it was his rookie year. He scored about 45 points. It was the one where they compared him, or they had the Jordan stats. He was only rookie to do it since Jordan. So yeah, I think a lot of people, granted he had the injury, so that kind of stuck for him. So people were kind of out on him. A lot of people here in Detroit, radio and Detroit media were kind of calling him a bust, so to speak, which I think was a little too preemptive in my opinion. He was 22, 21 years old when that happened. He's 23 now. He's showing you what he can do. I just think that Cade is definitely one of the generational players. He's a guy you haven't seen like him since Grant Hill, who played for the Pistons. So I think it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's incredible. And what's the podcast called, man? Feel free to tell people where they can find it.
Yeah, sure. It's called Detroit Sports Talk. We stream every Tuesday, generally around 8 o'clock. I'll DM you our link too. We would love to get you on there, and being an Aussie and being a Pistons fan, we'll DM you, see if maybe you got some time to pop on for a quick Pistons segment. I just what made you? You said you fell in love with Drummond, and obviously Beef Stew you love too. What is it about those kind of big defensive role players that you like so much?
I love so I'm 6 foot tall, so I'm not a center at all. But I am not like I consider myself a hooper, but I'm not good at like I'm nowhere near professional at all. Nowhere near like I'm not good. But the way Stu plays is like the aggressiveness, like we call it like white line fever here in Australia. I'm sure other people call it like that's how like I play, and I just love how he like hates the opposition. Like I just love that so much. And then like just the energy.
The whole thing in Detroit is being gritty, and
Yeah.
it's what the bad boys were. It's what the 04 Pistons were. You know, the famous thing they say about the Pistons when it was Chauncey and Big Ben and all them, nobody scored over 100 points. So it's just the gritty basketball, right?
Literally, that's what I love. And that wasn't really what Andre was. Andre Drummond, I really liked Dwight Howard with that Magic teams. And then I just said, whichever team drafts Andre, I'm going to follow them. Because I thought Dre was going to be like the next Dwight. Kind of figured out midway through that wasn't on the cards, but been with the team ever since. So,
yeah. I hear you.
But, I don't know why. Like, I love Cade. Like, Cade's probably deep down like my favorite player just because he's a star. But sometimes it's nice to support the other guys who don't get all the shine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I really. Cade, once they drafted Cade, I mean, because we were in such a dark time being Pistons fans, you know, and ever since Blake Griffin, he was obviously unbelievable, but there was nobody that really came around that was a superstar. You know, you had your Brandon Jennings and people like that, but they weren't at Cade's level, and they drafted Cade and they got that first overall pick. I thought, lucky enough, they were going to, you know, potentially get Wemby, which would have changed this whole trajectory of this team. I think that would have been Cade and Wemby. Cade would have been averaging, you know, probably 28 and
can you imagine it?
15 if he had Wemby on his team. It would be incredible. But yeah, I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that fall in love with those gritty players, like you said. Obviously, it's easy to love Cade when he's a superstar. And the way that this team's playing right now, I left a comment on one of your posts not too long ago about Asar. He's a guy that I love. If he can get that offensive, you know, game rolling, I think he can be a great player. His athleticism is unreal. He had a rebound tonight where he went up over everybody and his head was at the rim to grab the rebound. He just snatched it down. And I said, man, this kid just gets some offensive. I think he needs more starting time personally. I think that, you know, Tim Hardaway is great, but I think if you put Asar and you have Beasley playing at that one spot and over Ivy right now since he's hurt, I think Asar is going to do great.
Man, Asar's like, I think Asar, if he hits his ceiling, he's got the second highest ceiling behind Cade, just because of that athleticism and the stuff he brings defensively. Can I ask you? I asked Cody earlier, who opened the stream, but like when he took that three during the third quarter, were you like, what were you thinking? Because I was like, man, that is not the shot I'd go for, but he drained it. So I was like, shit.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think a lot of people are just a little bit weary on him because last season, obviously, he was trying to find a shot. And it's kind of the same thing with Ron Holland. You know, they drafted him and they were worried about his three-point shot. A guy, Fred Vincent, that they picked up from New Orleans, really helped a lot of people's three, I think, including Jaden Ivey. You look at this at Vincent's, you know, contribution to other teams he was on with Lonzo and everything like that, it all ups their three. So, I mean, I did kind of agree. I agree with you. I was thinking, man, what is this shot that you're going for? But he's had a few of those. He did that last season. So, I mean, it went in. I can't complain about it, but it's not the first shot I would have him take, probably.
Any other thoughts on the game, man? The floor is yours. I've shared mine. Is there any other player? Like we spoke about Cade, but yeah, far away.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, you know, we're obviously talking about the team. The players win the game for the most part. I think everybody was real. You know, you fell in love with Monty when they hired him because of that Suns team. But you have to give so much credit to JB Bickerstaff. The way he's getting these young guys to play. Tobias Harris, I think, is the vet they need. I've seen a few people saying they should trade him because he's not doing what you wish he would. But that veteran presence in the locker room is offering way more than, you know, another player that can come out and maybe average 18 as opposed to 16 or whatever Tobias is offering right now. Because Tobias came here, said he met his wife here, fell in love in Detroit when he was here that first time. It was just a bad team he was on. So I think that's great. A guy I would love to see get minutes. I know it's hard because this roster, you know, there's not really spots to play him, but Bobby Klintman was a guy that they drafted last year in the second round that I was head over heels wanting them to get. Talk about a guy who is athletic. That guy can go up, rebound, he can jam, he can shoot. I think he's a guy who needs to get more minutes. He's killing it with Grand Rapids right now. or the Motor City Cruise. I'm sorry, he's killing it with the Motor City Cruise. It's I get it. You know, maybe there's not the minutes there, but he's a guy that I would love to see play. But yeah, I want to give my flowers to JB Bickerstaff. I think he's got this team rolling, and he did it with Cleveland. I mean, look at the young team that Cleveland had. They just show you that this team can play when they're all together, the cohesive unit. And again, Tobias, that veteran presence, is really helping out there. So this team is so exciting to watch. And unfortunately, it's crazy because here in Detroit, we have a certain network that the Pistons are on. It used to be Bally Sports. Now it's the FanDuel network. And unless you have cable and you pay for the FanDuel package, you can't watch it. Me being someone who runs all my stuff off of YouTube TV, I have to stream the games on some sort of streaming site. So that's the one thing I'm a little annoyed about. But you guys talked about it, man. They need nationally televised games. This team is one of the hottest teams in basketball.
Man, I love it. So the amount of times I see people from Detroit or Michigan just being like, the FanDuel, it used to be the Bally Sports app, sucks.
It was FanDuel. One of the worst.
I don't understand it. So we have in Australia, I just signed up for International League Pass. It probably cost me, I think it's actually gone up a bit, but I want to say 150, 180 Australian dollars for the whole season. I get to watch every single game. I can watch both broadcasts, everything you want. I have no issues. And I know why they have blackouts and all that in the US, but it's just crazy to me how easy it is for us here to watch every game. Yes, it costs a little bit, but like, if you love watching hoops, like
I live 45 minutes away from the stadium and I can't even watch the game unless I go down there and it's almost cheaper for me to buy a ticket and go down there and watch the game than it would be for me to pay for the FanDuel sports subscription. So yeah, I mean, like you said, I get they have blackouts. I mean, everything's the money now, but it's something that I wish I could just turn on and watch. I mean, I'm a hockey fan too, so the Red Wings, I can't even watch the Red Wings. It's something that's crazy. Will they ever change it? No, but here we are.
It's just funny to me, man.
Yeah.
I feel for you guys, but I just have to laugh because I'm like, you guys are right there and have all these issues watching games. But are the Red Wings? I don't follow hockey at all. I follow the NFL very, very vaguely, but the Red Wings doing well at the moment too.
Yeah, they started off really, really slow. They fired their head coach, and they got in a new head coach, and now that new head coach has won 7 of the last 8 games. So they're doing well. They got, I think they're about. So they go by points. A lot of sports go by points, but I think they're about 4 or 5 points out of a wild card spot right now. So they're playing well. I just saw this comment here. I'm with James. Yeah, I can't stop smiling either. How good this team's playing, man. I mean, it's exciting. But yeah, Red Wings are doing well.
Love to hear it. I've never watched a hockey game, but I know the Red Wings are very big in Detroit, in particular.
It used to be huge for us earlier in their in the early years, the 90s. They were huge. 2000s, they won in 2008 for a Stanley Cup. But yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone who obviously lives in the city, and they said it's so obviously the Lions now are the number one story. But prior to the Lions kind of taking off the past 3 years, they were telling me it's like a hockey town.
Yeah, we're called Hockey Town is literally what Detroit is called. Yeah, so in the 90s,
I was so surprised, but I don't know anything.
Well, no, you're good. We're close to Canada, obviously. Right over the border it's a 10-minute drive over the bridge and the border. We're known as Hockey Town. They won a bunch of Stanley Cups in the 90s. I think it was 4 Stanley Cups in the 90s. They won in 2008. Went back in 2009, lost to Pittsburgh. So, yeah, it's Hockey Town. Pittsburgh tried to take over the name Hockey Town, but nobody was going for it. So, yeah, Detroit's a very proud hockey city. We had a very good team for a long time. The Lions are one of the stories of, the century, considering they've been so bad for so long. Pistons were pretty consistent, obviously bad boys, 04, 06. Tigers have been solid in the 2010s era, but yeah, I mean, Detroit sports are on the way up. Our baseball team made it to the playoffs last season. Lions are number 1 seed. Pistons are clearly, on the way to make a playoff, and potentially the Red Wings make a playoff. So I think the Pistons, I said in the beginning of the season that they could make a playoff or a play-in game. I think they're going to beat a play-in game. I think they'll probably be, a 7 or a 6 seed if they keep playing like this.
So let's take a look at the standings because I'm with you. So they currently right now, they're still in the 8 seed, but they are a half game back of the Bucks at 6. So the Bucks are 20-17. They've played a few less games. Detroit sitting in 8th at 21-19, but the Pacers are at 5, and they're 1 game ahead of the Pistons. So that next game against the Pacers is massive. That would mean the Pistons would be on equal games with them, and they have the tiebreaker, so they would go ahead, I think.
Yeah,
So we could be talking 6
Thursday?
seed. Yeah, it's Thursday. We could be sitting in that 6th seed, maybe 5th seed. It's my Friday, but Thursday for you.
I know Miami. I know Miami's ahead of them, correct? But if they trade Jimmy Butler, Miami could go down the drain. You know, they could potentially lose more games. Yeah, the Pacers started off pretty slow. I mean, you're happy that the 76ers aren't playing well and Embiid's been out. So I think you're happy that you're in the East because your path is so much easier than it would be if you were in the West, obviously. So it's exciting, man. It is very, very cool to see this team do that. I think the betting odds for them was 23 games this season, over 23 games, something like that. And they're about to smash that. So we again on the podcast, we all said that it was going to be over 23. So I think I projected 30, 33, and some of my other buddies projected 28. So they weren't as high, but I mean, I said 33 being low, and now I think it's going to be way higher than that. I think they'll win 40 plus now.
Well, 21 wins, and 21 wins in 40 games. Like, that's like, what the hell? I honestly, like, because they were having, I kind of thought I was 29 wins before this season. That's what I had them at last season. I thought they would just get to where they were meant to be a year ago. Clearly, they're going to go past that. But I kind of thought maybe they would start to turn it on after the All-Star break. Like, I thought they might be like 5-6 games below 500 come end of Jan. But then after the All-Star break, they really figure things out. But they figured it out like a month and a half ahead. Like, for me, it started with that win. They lost to the Jazz, but then they were on that West Coast trip and something clicked. And they won 3 in a row. I think they've lost 2 games since then. And it's a different team. Not that they were horrible before it, but it's a different team, and it's incredible.
I'm with you. I think it was big going over that West Coast trip and then winning those games. Obviously, beating the Lakers, beating that Sacramento game. I think was a big tide turner too, because that Sacramento team isn't a joke either. I mean, they have a lot of good young talent. So yeah, them moving over there to the West and taking out all those teams on the coast. It was a big momentum mover for them. And I think moving forward, they're I feel like they're not scared to play any more teams. Like I don't think there's any teams that are gonna give them as much trouble as you think they would. Obviously, like a Nuggets or something like that, they lost to them recently, but the Nuggets are a high caliber team, world champion team. So I think there's a lot of teams that they're just not scared of anymore.
Yeah, and I think getting those, like winning 3 in a row out west, I think has just given them this confidence and self-belief. Like that they can not only, because they've had games like against the Magic and the Blazers and Charlotte recently, where they were down by like I think they were down by 20 points in one of those games. And they just have this, like, a lot of it's to do with Cade, like, leading the way. But Malik Beasley tonight, 22 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. has come through with like 26 and 23 in 2 games prior to tonight. Like, Tobias, you were right to bring him up. 11 points tonight, but I felt he made a huge corner 3, and I think he made one of his turnaround post shots in the 4th. Someone's always stepping up, and it sucks Ivy's not here. But it just feels like the culture and everything. They have a belief that whoever's playing on the court for the Pistons, it kind of doesn't matter. They're going to get, as long as Cade's there, they're going to be in every game, and they're a chance to win, which is like a huge win on this season so far.
I don't think anybody thought Malik Beasley was. I mean, they obviously thought he was going to be good. I don't think anybody thought he was going to be this good. I mean, he's a 6-man contender, but he's also potentially could be a starter if you wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like, he's averaging probably after this game, he's probably averaging close to 17 points a game. He's shooting lights out of the 3. I saw a cool stat. The Pistons' 3-point leader last season was Ivy. He had 124 threes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Beasley has 100 after today. He has 152 threes at the what'd you say, 40 game mark, something like that. Yeah. So that's insane to me. I mean, the dude could go 250, if he keeps shooting the way that he is. He was 6 for 8 tonight.
He's going to break the Pistons record. Sadiq Bey holds it in his rookie season. It was 212. So he's going to shatter that.
I think he smashes it. Yeah, absolutely.
That was crazy. Yeah, I couldn't believe, like, that team last year, like, oh boy.
Yeah. I had. I think it's funny because I always had. I'm doing some of the FanDuel bets when I've the last like 3 Pistons game I've done, and I did Malik Beasley on 2 of the games to try and hit some threes, and he missed on all of them. And then I just did one the other day to hit 4 threes, and he hit that, and it won me my parlay. So I was pretty excited about that. I lost one tonight. I had Karl Anthony Towns with points, rebounds, and assists, and he missed by 41. He needed 41 and 42. 41 and a half is what the line was, and he hit 41. So I had Cade in there, I had Brunson, and then I did Edwards and Scotty Barnes. So I had a few guys going. They all hit, but Karl Anthony Towns let me down. But the Pistons got to win, so I won't be worried about the bet. You know what I mean? As long as that happens, I don't care.
I'd love to hear it, my man.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the game? Anything about Pistons in general? Any recommendations for me in Detroit when I get there in a month's time or so?
No, if you get here, shoot me a DM. I can show you some cool places. But yeah, I mean, you obviously have to try a Coney dog when you get here. That's a big Detroit staple. American versus Lafayette's the big thing. Definitely try and check out a Red Wings game if you can. I know you said you're not really a hockey guy, but if you got time, I mean, they're always fun to go watch. You know, a lot of checking, you know, hitting, everything like that. So that's something to definitely check out. Yeah, I mean, I can think of a few other things if I had a little more time to mull it over. But no, I'm excited
Love
for
it.
this team, man. I'm excited to see what happens in the future. Again, like I said, I think they'll get to probably 40 wins, and they'll be out of a play-in game. They'll be in the playoffs. They won't have to worry about a play-in for sure. I think they're going to be 7, 6 seed, something like that. So I'm excited to see where they go. And like I said, dude, I'm happy that you decided to latch onto this team and keep being a fan of them. So that's awesome.
I appreciate you so much, Reed.
Yeah.
Been a pleasure having you up here, brother. You're welcome anytime. Just shoot me a DM when you want to jump on, and we'll get you up here because it's been unreal chatting Pistons with you and getting to meet another Pistons fan because that's what this show is all about. So thanks for making the time, man, and enjoy the win.
There you go. Thank you, Jack. You too, man. Have a good one, all right? And hopefully you have a safe trip here.
I will, man. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Love it. Love getting new people up here. Love it. All like Cody, absolutely love chatting with Cody, Austin, all the regulars. But man, there's something awesome about when you get someone up here for the first time. It's absolutely love it. So there's a few of you in here who I'd love to get up here. Derek Brown, I'm looking at you. You've DM'd me before saying you'll come up one time. No pressure. But Devin, you messaged me as well. Oh, you said earlier you might come up. So if you guys ever feel like you want to come and chat Pistons hoops, shoot me a DM because I love to get you up here. It's your chance to just talk about the team, talk about whatever topic you want. This is where everyone gets to have their say, have a voice, and share their thoughts. So Beasley Arrow, Jack, remember that stat you found out about teams not often increasing by more than 10 wins? What an outlier season this is. Absolutely, Beasley Arrow. So I wrote an article the season. So before the Monty Williams season, I wrote an article in the offseason saying that teams who finish with the worst record in the NBA typically only see an increase of like 7 to 8 wins. So basically off that math, and that was dating back to in the lottery era. So I went and checked every season how many wins the team with the worst record got the following season, and it was around 8 on average, and dating back 30 years. So there's only 2 outlier teams. This was I'm not sure what happened last season, but prior to last season, there's 2 outlier teams. It was the Miami Heat team that got Dwayne Wade back in 2007 and went to the playoffs, I think, in 2008 after he missed a whole season prior with an ACL injury. And then the other team was the 2015 Bucks, where Giannis just kind of went to another level. I think they just gotten Jabari Parker as a rookie. Chris Middleton was there. They had a solid team. I think they might have made the 8th seed in the playoffs that year or just missed, but they also are an outlier. So the Pistons are currently a massive outlier to that. So if you're feeling shocked, if you can't believe what you're seeing, it's because it's not normal for a team to be what they were last season to be without now. And there's a whole heap of reasons for that. A lot of ones which probably you could have fixed with just a better roster around Cade last season, but regardless, this season's just crazy. And yeah, James, we're going to win more games than the last 2 seasons combined. Oh man, that would be so. They would have to get 32 wins to break that, and that's insane. That just shows that's just a glimpse into the pain us Pistons fans have been through in the past 15 years. So everyone in here, I know you watch every game or as many as you can. Like we all deserve to feel this happy. Yeah, I'm buzzing. So like I said, like I watching this game today in my little like studio here, like I was screaming. Like I'm in an apartment building screaming during the day. My neighbors must think there's something wrong with me, but just loving every moment with this team. And yeah, shout out to my guy Cody. More likes, people. If you could drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. It just continues to help these fan reacts grow in particular, get them more out of the algorithm, get the YouTube pushing them out to get more views on here so we can get more people up. But if you don't want to, that's all good. But I saw as well my guy, Sean, always supporting, always in the chat, pushing for more likes. So if you could, guys, really appreciate it. It all just really helps this channel keep growing, particularly this show. So thank you to Sean and Cody. I appreciate your guys' support. I'm just going to quickly check. We've got no more people who want to come up. I'm going to end the stream on Instagram Live. So thank you everyone for tuning in there. That's where Reed come from. So I'm really happy to be pushing the show now on Instagram because we get more people up here. Just going to check my requests. Oh, we have one person who wants to come up on the stream, Charlie. I'm just going to reply to him. So just bear with me. And we will see if he still wants to come. But let's go through some more comments. Ray, I agree, man. So my brother's a huge Knicks fan, so I root for the Knicks. But honestly, like when I say root for the Knicks, like if last season when the Pistons are out of the playoffs, obviously I start following the Knicks because I watched some of the games with my brother. But man, when Brunson plays your favorite team, it's rough. Very talented player. I tweeted this out. I love what he's done with his career. Love where he's taken his game to being like a 6-man, like fringe starter to an absolute star of the league. But it's a tough watch. No denying it. I missed this, James. That Brunson drive fadeaway and airball had me laughing. I don't know what I was doing. I was all over the place today watching this game, trying to post stuff. So I'm sure I'll have a laugh at seeing that. Trevor Newman, totally agree, Jack. Stewart is one of those players whose value gets higher the better the team is. I'm not interested in trading him unless it's for another star next to Cade. Yeah, like I know, like when you look at like if Stu is traded, it's because he has value. Like teams see what he does. Like I just have said this for so long, not like way before I had Pistons, Jack. Like we have still not seen the best of Isaiah Stewart. You're going to see the best of him in the playoffs, 100%. Closing games, shutting down the opposing team's 4 or 5 man when switched onto them. Like you're going to see the best of him there. Like he's just does so many little things. His rim protection is like improved out of sight. Some of that's to do with the fact he's going against bench lineups. But tonight he played a lot of starters minutes. What did he get to? 29. And he was a team high plus 14. So plus minus isn't everything. YouTube user, I know you're in the comments here. You'll get at me because I use plus minus sometimes. But I think tonight, Stu being a plus 14 was a pretty good reflection of how he played. So thanks for the comment, Trevor. Appreciate you, man. And also, you know what? We might try something new here. I'm going to try share my screen because this play here from Stu, I highlighted it around halftime. This is just one of the little things he does. So we're going to try and do this in real time. Let's see if this works. This is going to be interesting, guys. What do we got here? Here we go. So I'm not sure. Okay, so you guys can see this now. So watch what Stu does here. So wait for this to start again. So Stu here, watch Beasley out of position. He just pushes Beasley, and Beasley then automatically up in Cat's space. And that little bit of confusion for Cat forces a turnover. Pistons get the ball back. That is Cat. If Stu doesn't push Beasley in the back, then that's probably a Cat 3. And if it misses, it's still a high percentage look, and he's taken it every day of the week. That's just the small things he does with communication, But then it's just this little nudge. Look at it. It's so smart. Like, and that's just those little things he does, which is why I just think he's so important to this team, particularly on defense. He's just so important to this team. And there's been so many players who contributed today, but I just wanted to highlight that little thing because I thought it was really cool. Couldn't agree more. Federico, I need to buy a Stu jersey now. Yeah, I've got a teal one. You can see it behind me, but when I get to Detroit in the 3-on-3 store, I think I'm going to have to get another one, man. But we're going to go through some more comments now. Devin, Stu is super underrated. One of, if not the best defender off the bench. Absolutely. Yeah, YouTube user. Absolutely. Stu and a Giannis trade. Yeah, would be good. I would 100% do that. Is it Corey? I don't mind this. If the Pelicans blow it up to get under the apron, go get CJ. Spoke about this, I think, on a recent live stream, or maybe it was the last game with Kyle. And I think we actually, Kyle, when we recorded our trade video, we spoke about a trade for CJ. Sorry. But yeah, CJ, I think he's got, let's just say it's around 35 million this season and next. That's just off the top of my head. You bring him in this season, he starts with Ivy out, and then next season I really could see him going back to a 6-man role, expiring deal. And yes, defensively, it's a nightmare with him, but just the shot creation and shooting next to Cade, like that's what we need. Like, because I think I would probably prefer CJ to Brandon Ingram at this point. Truthfully, I think CJ, you get someone who can come in, help immediately, give you 20 points a night or more, maybe less sometimes, but elite pull-up shooter. I have to look at the numbers, but I feel like he's been an excellent pull-up shooter from the mid-range and 3 floaters, like just a flat-out scorer. I think he could really help this team this season, help them get to that 6th seed, win a playoff game or 2. I mean, if they won a series, that'd be wild. But then next season, he's an expiring. If he settles in that 6-man role, maybe you sign him to another year after, something more team friendly. But as you say here, Corey, absolutely, he gives Cade nights off from having to do everything. Yeah, because I do think, as much as this is such a fun run, there is going to be a game coming where Cade just doesn't have it, and that's fine. Every star superstar in the league has these games, and the rest of the team, like someone has typically stepped up, which has been awesome. And I think a credit to the balance of this roster this season. But yeah, allowing Cade not to have to do everything offensively every time he's on the floor would be a massive bonus. So great call, Corey. And YouTube user throws a trade out here. CJ and any min for THJ, Sasa, and Wendell Moore Jr. works. Any min. Not sure what that means, but we get the framework of a trade there. Owen33, Monty Williams should be charged with fraud. Man, Monty, that's okay. That's in the past now. Well, recommendation here, Jack, find a Mediterranean restaurant while you're here and get some chicken shawarma. Let's do it. I love it. Appreciate you, YouTube user. Guys. Okay. You meant minimum contract from New Orleans. Got you. Thank you. I think that's going to do it for today's stream, guys. I don't think we have anyone else coming up. Let me just double check. Yeah, I don't think Charlie's. I think that was from much earlier in the live stream on Instagram. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Amazing stream, guys. Amazing game. I'm definitely watching this one back with dinner tonight. That was a heap of fun. Cade Cunningham, All NBA. We're pushing MVP next. Like, he's definitely going to be an all-star. Go vote where you can. Every vote counts, even if it's not going to get him above LaMelo. Just keep voting Cade. There's links everywhere. Just type up Cade Cunningham All-Star and you'll be able to put your votes in. And yeah, this team's so much fun. 21-19, 2 games above 500. I might have to go and check when the last time they were 2 games above 500 was, because it might be longer than 6 years ago. But so much fun. Enjoy the win tonight. And we'll be back after the Pacers game, which is going to be a massive game for a number of reasons. We'll be back streaming after that. But until then, as always, go Pistons.